Hey guys, Rob here with McDojo Life. In today's McDojo Breakdown, we're going to be discussing a lot of different stories that all revolve around something on the internet referred to as
the Power Rangers curse.
Let's check out the stories, and then let's break them down. Recently, I covered a story about an actor named Jason Lawrence Geiger, aka Austin St. John, aka the Red Power Ranger from the original Power Rangers show. In that story, we talk about how he was accused of participating in a multi-million-dollar COVID scheme. Now, while I was covering that particular story, I came across something called the Power Rangers curse. The stories that I found about the Power Rangers curse were so crazy that even though I personally don't believe in a Power Rangers curse, I had to cover some of these stories because they are just absolutely crazy. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the ball rolling with the first story I'm going to cover revolving around the Power Rangers curse.
It's morphin' time!
The attempted assassination of Jason David Frank, aka the Green Power Ranger, aka the White Power Ranger, aka Tommy from the original Power Ranger series. This one goes all the way back to May 25th of 2017. A man by the name of Matthew Sterling, age 31, was arrested after carrying guns and other weapons into the Phoenix Comic-Con with the intent of killing law enforcement and Jason David Frank. According to police reports, Mr. Sterling was claiming to actually be the Punisher. Literally.
I am the Punisher!
Yeah, that Punisher. He told police that he wanted to hurt, quote, the bad officers, the officers he referred to as Aphrodite officers. Police were tipped off about this guy by a California woman who he had confided in on Facebook. Women, you can't live without him. Can't commit seriously horrendous and violent acts while pretending to be a Marvel superhero without him. Am I right? Sterling went on to tell police that he was aware that real weapons were not allowed into the convention, but he didn't think that those rules applied to him because he was an actual superhero. When he was arrested, he was in possession of 3 handguns, pepper spray, a combat knife, throwing stars, and a shotgun. That's right, I said throwing stars. What did this man think was possibly going to happen with the throwing stars? Everything else made kind of sense in a way, but the throwing stars seemed a little off. Like, how did he think the throwing star thing was going to go down as compared to, I don't know, the handgun or the shotgun? That was probably exactly what was going on in his mind, how that would go down. Since the incident, all prop weapons have been banned from the convention. I know a collective sigh went across the crowd, but you can all thank Mr. Sterling for ruining it for everybody. This is why we can't have nice things. Next, let's go ahead and go to the story of Ricardo Medina, who played the character of Cole Evans, aka the Red Lion, on Power Rangers Wild Force. Now, he played on that show in 2002, but the actual incident that I'm about to talk about happened in 2015, which equaled a 6-year sentence. According to police reports, Medina was arguing with his 36-year-old roommate Josh Sutter over Medina's girlfriend. Once the argument became physical, Medina stabbed Sutter multiple times with a sword, which was described as large and double-edged. Medina's defense team, on the other hand, painted this picture a little bit differently according to them. They said that once the argument became physical, Medina grabbed his girlfriend and they ran into a bedroom and locked the door. They said that Medina and his girlfriend did so because they were afraid of what Sutter was doing and they were trying to get away and hide from him. They said after that, Mr. Sutter broke through the door and rushed towards Medina and tried to attack him right there in the bedroom. Then they said Medina, trying to protect himself, grabbed the closest weapon that he could, which happened to be this double-edged sword that was right next to him. Nunchucks? No. Ninja stars? Nah. Traditional African hand-carved dagger? Nah. I'll just take the medieval sword. That defense is ridiculous. You're a trained martial artist, and just your random roommate was able to whoop you so bad that you had to pull out this medieval-type sword and stab him multiple times? I mean, one time I get, like he's running at you, you pull out the sword, oh man, I stabbed you. But then after that, to repeatedly stab him is ridiculous. Now, he was originally charged with first-degree murder, which would have equaled a sentence of 26 years in prison. He instead decided that he was going to plead guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter, which only got him 6 years instead. Next, let's go on to the story of David Yoast, who played the Blue Power Ranger, aka Billy, on the show until 1996 when he made his exit. A lot of fans speculated that the reason that he left originally was because of like a salary issue, but that was not the case whatsoever. Over a decade after he left the show, he made it public that the reason he left the show was because of constant harassment by fellow castmates about his sexual orientation. Apparently it got so bad during that time that he even tried sexual conversion therapy to, quote, cure his homosexuality. Because of the constant harassment, he had a nervous breakdown, he had hospitalization, and also had to go to therapy, but eventually did learn to accept himself and his sexuality. Since that time, he's reconnected with castmates and even was there to help kind of promote the reboot of the Power Rangers movie. Now to the next story of Skylar Julius De Leon. Skylar appeared on an episode of Power Rangers entitled Second Chance, where he played a kid who was attempting to play soccer in like a scene of the show. He was 14 at the time. Flash forward sometime later and he's 25 years old and he confesses to the murder of a Thomas and Jackie Hawks and was sentenced to death. While in jail, he was also accused of murdering someone in Mexico. Also, while he was in jail, he was accused of soliciting the deaths of his father and his cousin. But wait, there's more. This part is pretty gross. While in jail, he partially severed his penis with a razor blade. The reason, you might ask? He said that the reasons for the murders and for severing his penis was all in the name of a sex change operation. Next up, let's talk about actor Kua Matsuva, aka Shane Clark, aka the Red Power Ranger on the show Power Rangers Ninja Storm. That actor passed away on May 11th of 2019, but the backstory behind that is pretty wild. Apparently, Matsuva had a long history of domestic violence that he was able to keep hidden from the public until his death. Just 2 weeks, technically 15 days, before his death, he was actually convicted of assaulting his wife. By the way, that wasn't the first time that had happened. When he was convicted, he was sentenced to 6 months of supervision, whatever that might be, and 70 hours of community service. He was able to keep all that hidden from the public because of a name suppression order. On the night of that particular incident, him and his wife, Liz Sadler, were out at a restaurant having dinner with friends. According to the report, he had apparently kicked his wife under the table when she had made some type of a remark that he didn't like. His wife, after being kicked, apparently became very upset. I don't blame her, I'd be upset too, and went home and went to sleep. Matsuva apparently arrived back at their home later on that evening, very drunk, and awoke her by spitting in her face. He then let her know that she would no longer be allowed to travel overseas with him. Spit in my face, I don't want to go overseas with you any damn way, asshole. She hid the passports from you, and then you grabbed her by the arms and repeatedly hit yourself in the face with them, according to Judge Ryan's statement during the court case. Apparently after that, he then dragged her around by the neck and then proceeded to put her in a headlock and punch himself repeatedly in the face. His wife was eventually able to escape and grab her cell phone in order to try to call the police. When he grabbed the cell phone and threw it, the cell phone shattered on impact. After that, she escaped from the home, fleeing on foot, in which she was able to eventually get to the police station. Now, all that happened just 2 weeks, 15 days before his death. But the night of his death was actually extremely similar to that situation. The night of his death, his wife says that once again he had attacked her in a drunken rage, grabbing her by the head and smashing her head on a table, leaving her bleeding. I was hazy, she said, but I managed to get to the bathroom, all while he was still punching me. I was able to make it to the shower and the blood just poured out. When she eventually did emerge from the bathroom, she discovered his lifeless body on the floor. She attempted to resuscitate him, but to no avail, so she called the police. His cause of death is still unknown. Now, all those stories are pretty crazy, but even after those stories, there are also 30 other cases of death from actors and people who worked on the show. The list is as follows. Robert Manahan, the original voice of Zordon on the Power Rangers shows, died of a heart aneurysm just 2 years after he left the show. Eric Frank is the actual brother of Jason David Frank. He was also cast as a character named David Trueheart, who played Tommy Oliver's brother on the show. He died at the age of 29 to an unknown illness. Burt Kramer played a character known as General McKnight in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. He passed away from melanoma at age 66. Thuy Trang, who played the original Yellow Power Ranger, also known as Trini Kwan, died after she lost control of her car and it went off a cliff in California. She died at age 27. Hal England, who played a character also known as Earl on Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, died of heart failure at the age of 71. George Buckflower, who played various characters on different versions of Power Rangers over the years, died at age 66 from an unspecified form of cancer. Jack Banning, who played the character of Professor Phenomenus Ingenious, died at age 73 of pneumonia. Bob Pappenbrook, who was a voice actor on the show who voiced a lot of different monsters over the years, died at age 50 from lung complications. Machiko Sogo, who played Rita Repulsa, which most everybody knows who that is if you've ever watched Power Rangers, she died at age 68 from pancreatic cancer. Edward Lawrence Albert, who played Mr. Collins on Power Rangers Time Force, died at age 55 from lung cancer. Harry Fraser, who played the character of Neptune on Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, died at age 77 due to natural causes. Richard Grant, who played the character of Jera on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, died at the age of 79, also due to natural causes. Richard Janelli, also known as the character of Ernie, died at the age of 47 due to a heart attack. Frank Salcedo, who played the character of Sam Trueheart, died at the age of 80 due to natural causes. Peter Rutter, also known as Udana, the White Mystic Rangers from Power Rangers Mystic Force, died at the age of 50 due to complications from a brain tumor. Gardner Baldwin, who was a voice actor on the show who voiced a character called the Snow Monster, died at the age of 60 due to a heart attack. Richard Rabago, who played the character of Master Lee on the show, died at age 68 due to natural causes. Elisa Ann Smego, who played the character of Shauna Hilton on the show, passed away at age 38 due to suicide. John Simatan, who played the character of Larigod on Power Rangers Turbo and the Power Rangers Turbo movie, died at the age of 44 due to natural causes. Brad Orchard, who was the character of various monsters on the show throughout the years, died at the age of 57 due to complications from a stroke. Carrie Casey, who was a suit actor who played Goldar in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, died at the age of 61 due to an unspecified form of cancer. Betty Hankins, who played the character of High Counselor Rainier on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, died at the age of 71 due to unknown causes. Grant McFarlane, who played the character of Sensei Watanabe, died at the age of 71 due to natural causes. Alex Browning, who did voice acting on the show as well for various characters over the years, died at age 65 from an unspecified form of cancer. Cody Slatton, who played the character of Bulk on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original all the way to Zeo, passed away at age 36 due to a blood clot in his lungs. Robert Axelrod, who was best known for his voice acting on the show as the character of Lord Zed, passed away at age 70 due to complications from a spinal surgery. Jack Donner, who was the character of Commander Kinwan on Power Rangers in Space, passed away at age 90 due to natural causes. Bruce Allpress, who played Master Fant on the show, passed away at 89 years old due to complications from ALS. Peter Greenwood, who was known for his characters Wolfgang Amadeus Griller in Power Rangers Turbo and Aquafiend in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, died at age 58 due to an unknown cause. Scott Page Pachter, who was also a voice actor on the show, died at age 52 due to cancer. And finally on this list is Rebecca Staples, who played a character called Kimberly Hart, Biorhythm Pink in the 1986 pilot Power Rangers series Bioman. She passed away at 61 due to unknown causes. I know those were some crazy stories followed up by a very long list of death, but I think that it's important in order to get this story correct and to talk about the curse itself that we cover everything that I could possibly find. So, do I think that there is a Power Rangers curse? Absolutely not. I think that is a ridiculous thing to think about. And most of the people on that list, by the way, either passed away from some type of a disease or natural causes at the age around the time you will probably catch a disease or die of natural causes. I don't think that it's cool. I think that it sucks, and I'm sorry that they passed away, but at the same time, I don't think they passed away due to some mystical curse that surrounds the Power Rangers. But with all that said, I am highly curious what you guys have to think about this in the comment section, which brings me to the part where I find out if you actually watched the full video. With that said, do me a favor, whenever you leave your comment in the comment sections below, be sure to answer this particular question. If you had the ability to turn on and off any one superpower at will, what would that superpower be? Thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and all that other crap online that people tell you to do. Keep the martial arts legit.